we are going to welcome our next speaker, Marilia Cunha. She is a communications specialist and international relations analyst who founded Global Diplomacy. She's working on understanding the world and communicating about it, and always carrying around a book and a pen. Marilia is going to be speaking live about what can data visualization learn from international relations. So I'm going to bring Marilia up. Hello, Marilia. Nice to see you.
How are you?
Welcome. So you can take it away now.
Thank you very much. Well, thanks. I was going to do that, so I hope you can see me, see the presentation, and hear me well. So, like Ali was saying, my talk will be about data visualization and international relations. And it's going to be briefly, so why have I chosen this topic, which is a bit different from the usual database talks. What is it in a name? A Venn diagram of both fields, and why does this discussion matter? Does it really matter? Why this topic? Well, actually, it was kind of hard for me to define the topic, because I have a huge syndrome, imposter syndrome, especially because I studied so many different fields: international relations, languages. Now I'm studying data visualization. I don't really consider myself a data visualization specialist, designer, or whatever we want to call ourselves. So it was a bit hard to define what topic would be interesting. And with some help of the team, I decided to actually talk about my two favorite topics: international relations and data visualization. And maybe for you, or maybe for the audience, which is mostly data viz audience, I imagine, these might not have so much in common, but I think they do. Especially, and this is related to this love story, my love or my interests from a very young age about the world. Especially beginning with this book, this is my book, a Portuguese edition, but it's called Children Like Me, which was a UNICEF book, or at least a collaboration with UNICEF by Barnabas and Annabelle Kindersley. And it was all about the kids all around the world, in Africa, in Latin America, in the USA, in Asia, and of course, for me, it was always very interesting to understand exactly how they live, and how would they actually do the things, the normal activities, the daily activities. And it was always for me kind of a mission, or to try to understand how I could combine my love for the world, or my interest in what's happening in the world, but also communication and all the other fields that I've been studying. And that's how I created Global Diplomacy, which is a communications and multimedia production studio, which was founded by me. My motto, or the motto of the company, is really understanding the world through research, data, visual communication, and stories, trying to combine both fields, international relations and data visualization. So that is more or less the story of how I chose this topic. And what is in a name? Why start by defining the concepts of both fields? For me, it's always, and I will also continue speaking about this later on, but for me, it's always important to understand the concepts. It's also important learning by doing, but before learning, by understanding what are we talking about when we talk about X or Y. And also because whenever I studied international relations in my bachelor's and master's, and whenever I told people outside the field that I was studying that, usually the next question would be something along the lines: what is that? What does it? What is it for? What are you talking about? And just out of curiosity, I included here a print screen of the Wikipedia page, and you can see that international relations, international affairs, international studies all refer to the same thing. So it's already quite confusing, a field that has so many different names, right? But what is exactly international relations? It's basically the study of the interactions between sovereign states, which can mean studying war, studying conflicts, studying diplomacy, studying foreign policy, studying defense as well, although then we can have some subfields, studying trade. So that's pretty much it. Which also happens with data and information visualization. Now that I started studying and learning more about this, and I'm also talking with colleagues and talking with friends, usually I tell them, I'm studying the data visualization. What do you think it is? And there are usually also the same questions that came before when I said I was studying, or when we talked about international relations. What is it? What is it for? So again, this has also been a huge discussion between the academics and the practitioners. But I'm going to go with the usual definition of data visualization as a graphic representation of data. Then, of course, it can be, this talk is not about that, but we can define what is infographics, what is a data visualization, and interactive data visualization, if it's more exploratory, explanatory, what should be the ratio between text and visuals and graphics and charts, but this is probably a discussion for another time. So, what do they have in common, international relations and data visualization? Both are considered a new fields, and you might wonder why I put new field like this, and I will explain shortly. There are plenty of discussions if they should be an autonomous field or not, and also, are they Eurocentric or US based? Both of them. No, how does this work? Something is not working. Can you see my next slide? Well, not exactly sure what's happening. Ali, can you maybe give me, or Duncan?
Do you want to try and load up the slides again?
I'm sharing my, or maybe I'll stop sharing, and
yeah,
because
let's
I'm
see if that works.
using it, I think I lost my connection for a while. Okay. Very good.
I can see and hear you now, and yeah, so don't worry.
Okay, I think you can see it now. Yes. What slide?
There we go. Which slide were you on?
What do they have in common? Can you see it? Oh.
Before this? I'll let you control it.
Yes, please. But I'm not exactly sure. Okay, I'll do it like this instead. There is not, if there wasn't technical problems in the talk, of course. So yeah, here we are. So about the field, the new fields. International relations, ER for abbreviation, was already studied in antiquity by Thucydides, and of course it's you have a long history of international relations topics. In case you are interested, I'll also not go into a lot of detail. However, it was only recognized as a field in 1990, a bit before the First World War. Or sorry, a bit after the First World War. Which is also the same as in data visualization. Usually, there is also some different interpretations, but first, usually it is believed that the first visual representation was done in 1644 by this astronomer, Michael van Langren, and you can see the visualization there, which was, again, this could have been a table, this could have been written in text, but he decided to have a graphical representation of the distances between Toledo, a city in Spain, and Rome, a city in Italy. And of course, we have, again, For a new field, we have several very well-known scientists, Playfair, Snow, Minard, Nightingale, since 1821 until 1855, so not necessarily a new field. I put here some of the examples, but of course, I'm pretty sure that being a database audience, you are all very much familiar with this. So I'm not going to go into detail also, but of course, if you have any questions or if you want to add some information, just let me know in the chat. So you see that, okay, Playfair invented a series of charts. John Snow, to overcome the problem of cholera, also decided to have a visual representation of the streets to help public authorities deal with this situation. Charles Minard also shown in a graphic way the losses of the army, the French army during the Russian campaign, and Florence Nightingale also to solve a problem of the cases of mortality and also to improve the health conditions or the sanitary conditions, also created this chart. So all charts and ideas of how to solve a specific problem and also to understand how this could be done. So not new after all. Like international relations. Both are also considered to be an autonomous field for a very long time. However, for people outside the field, both in international relations and data visualization, believe that maybe international relations could come from political science instead, or be linked to economics or law, the same as data visualization. Sometimes it's seen as communications related, sometimes design, sometimes data science, statistics, or analytics. So also, for some people, not very clear exactly where it should come from. Or I believe that both are autonomous fields and both are multidisciplinary fields as well that have that interact and have topics of interest from all these fields as well. Is it European and US centric? Well, yes and no. I'm going to expand a bit later. Exactly. Because this is a topic that we can both fields can learn from each other. And this is important also that Danielle was mentioning in the previous keynote speech. Both can learn how to be global and both can learn how to better understand the world. Because in fact, neither of the fields, ER and database, are truly global disciplines yet. There is a bit of a focus on the global north. There is a bit of a focus on USA examples or on Anglophone examples. However, especially in the data visualization field, there is already a couple of examples that are more or less trying to tackle this problem. For example, Continentalist studio in Singapore, Indian Pixels, a very interesting database project that shows, well, exactly India in different charts. Interruptor, which is a Portuguese project that shows a bit the cultural aspect in Portugal, but through the prism of data journalism. And also Dataviz in Brazil, a huge project that showcases the huge community and examples that have been that are being done in Brazil. However, like I said, we still have to overcome the tendency to be biased and to better understand the world. Providing more context of what exactly we are talking about, diversifying the data sets and the research. There are a lot of missing data sets. This was briefly discussed as well by Danielle. I know that one of the talks is going to address that. We have, for example, the book Data Feminism, which we and both authors also talk about the missing data sets about women and feminicide, for example. So it's important to diversify, and it's also important to engage with information and research from the global south, not only the global north. which is something that should happen both in the international relations world, but also the data viz field. But you might wonder, but does this really matter? Isn't it quite obvious? Well, yes, it is. But again, I think it's important to define concepts. Academics and practitioners have different opinions on literature. For academics, it's usually more important to define concepts and to study. Some people really study the history of the field and the concepts in the field, which I think are important. However, for practitioners, that's not really the case, so we should not be carried away by never-ending discussions. However, I believe that what is most important and what I would like for you to take from this talk is, as a community of data viz people, we should try to give space and resources to new voices, like Elevate is doing, like I know that Data Visualization Society is also trying to do, and try as well to adapt and adjust to the different contexts and realities, not only providing the same examples or the same type of ideas and data sets for the data visualization. As well, I mentioned a couple of resources which I can then share if needed, and that's mostly it for me. I leave you here my contacts and my information, and that's mostly it. So what I would like for you to take is mostly this. Let's try to promote more global interactions between and also interactions with other fields as practitioners. Thank you.
Woo! Well done, Marilia. That was fantastic. Thank you so much. The problem with online conferences is you don't get actual proper applause and whooping. So I was trying to do my best there to replicate the experience. It's not quite the same, but I did what I could. Okay.
We have very applauded.
Good. So we have a couple of quick questions for you. The first one I wanted to ask is to kind of like bring it down to your personal experience working in both of these fields. Is there something that you have learned personally working in international relations that has made you a better data visualization designer?
Really the importance of providing context and the importance of knowing that the story that we tell is not always the full story. It's impossible to tell the full story. First, because we are biased. The data sets might not be, it's one approach. And the same for international relations. For example, studying the war, now the Russia-Ukraine war, it's impossible in a 15-minute talk to talk about everything that's going on, all the context. The same with the data story that we are providing. It's important to tell in some way that this is our approach, this is our view, and this is pretty much, it will always be biased because we are all biased. And that's not a problem per se, it's just that we need to address it from that point of view, that it is biased and there might be another approach. And I think that's basically what I tried also to convey in the talk.
Fantastic. And can you tell us a little bit about the Portuguese data viz scene for those of us who aren't so familiar with it? How big is it? Who are some of your favorite Portuguese data designers? I know you mentioned Interrupter earlier. Are there any others as well?
So there are a couple of, there is not, I wouldn't say a huge community, a small community, but very, very much active. And there is Data Visualization Lisboa, which is a meetup group. They, I think actually you, Duncan, were already.
Yeah, I came and spoke about loud numbers there.
Yes. Jorge Camões is, I believe it's a very famous data viz professional, very, very active on Twitter. And this Interrupter and some other well-known practitioners consider themselves more as data journalists. Again, they don't brand themselves so much as data visualization, whatever. They are more in the data journalism field. So I would say that we have a small community, very much integrated with data science analysts as well. However, it's not yet very clear. People brand themselves differently. So maybe they don't feel as a community as a whole, although I would consider them to be.
Fantastic. All right. I think we'll leave it there for today. Really appreciate your time. Your talk was wonderful. You were fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Duncan, and thank you for the opportunity. Bye-bye.